welcome back to the farm. Things look a little different than when you were here last. That's because it's been raining for 5 days straight. We finally have a window of about 4 days, but for the last week, I have not been able to do anything outside. We managed to grab an hour and a half day before yesterday to get some of the biggest of the fruit trees in, but the rest I just put in nursery pots because there was just no way to get them in the ground. So we're going to take this window. I unfortunately have a couple of things that I need/want to do today. So I'm making my mental list even as we speak. I know I need to finish filling the front gardens. I know I need to get at least the pea beds turned and preferably the lettuce and greens beds turned. And I need to mow. Now it is currently still, I don't know how well you can see, it's absolutely saturated. So there's no way I can mow right now. I did knock the blade loose again when I was up in the upper pasture. So I've got to try and figure out a way to tighten that even tighter so that it doesn't let loose that way. But I think I have a tool that might do the job. But that is probably going to be a tomorrow issue. Like I said, today is the front garden beds and turning a couple of the main garden beds. And then tomorrow we'll be turning the rest of the garden and hopefully mowing. And then if we have time, we'll try and put some more of these trees in. I also have bits and bobs that need to get done. So if you remember, I took these lilac branches down, late last summer. And my plan for them is the trunks are fairly sturdy. So I don't know how well you can see. So those are, 2 or 3 fingers thick. So they're pretty hefty. So I want to cut those into 3-foot lengths and sharpen the end to start making a wattle fence along the front yard, which I'm then just going to put those 2 lilac bushes I got on either end and a bunch of bulbs in front of. Again, that's an ongoing process. That's probably not even a this weekend progress. But I need to get these branches out of here so that I can mow. So I want to cut those to length and get them sharpened so that they're ready to go when it is time to do that. And then the scraps can go over in our big burn pile. But the first thing I need to do, and it looks like it's going to be a fraught task, is I want to take these leaves and put them in the front flower beds. Now I say fraught because you can see the bishop's weed is doing wonderfully with all this rain, and it's gotten into my leaf bed. And I don't want to add bishop's weed to my flower gardens. I already have some in one of the beds, so I'm not happy about that. So it's a matter of figuring out the best way to get the material out of here and into the wagon that the cat has decided to ride in without bringing those invasives in with me. So let's get the pitchfork and probably not the shovel like I thought I was going to be able to use, and see how much of this we can get moved. right, so hopefully that shows you why I'm so concerned about the bishop's weed. Once it gets in, it's just pernicious, and it takes over everything. So I want to try and keep it down as much as I can. And that's going to mean getting that mowed down, pulling it out of the front beds. What I really need to do is dig those out completely, put heavy layers of mulch at the bottom, put new soil in, heavily mulch the top, and then tuck my plants back in between that. Again, not a today project. What I was hoping with the leaves is actually proving to be true. You can see how the leaves are popping up through, of the bishop's weed is coming up through the leaves. But that's because it's just growing on these long spindly stems up out of the dirt. And they spread by the rhizomes. So if I can avoid getting any of the rhizomes, then I should be fine using these leaves. We're going to cross our fingers and be exceptionally careful. Very glad to find that one wagon full mostly fills one bed, so I'm not going to have to do a ton of trips. I thought I was going to have to do a dozen or more trips, but it looks like 6 trips is going to do me. So let's get them done. right, I ended up recruiting Morgan. Boy, it's nice having extra labor here on the farm to help me move bags. So we've got these beds all filled and ready for planting. Now my old beds, not so ready for planting. So I need to get those weeded and cleaned up. These extra bags that Morgan is moving right now are either going to top up the new beds as they settle around all the wood and leaves, because those leaves are going to compress, or I'll use them to top up the old beds. But first priority has to be to mow this. But we worked hard for 2 hours, so we are now going to go into town and do something fun. The Steampunk Expo is in Oneonta today. So we are going to go and check that out and maybe buy some tchotchkes, hopefully buy some fun food, and be back to garden work this afternoon. I finally can get into the garden. And the garden's doing some stuff without me, which I'm very happy to see. My asparagus is all coming up. I'm not supposed to pick much this year, but there are a couple I think I can safely pick. So I may give myself a treat tomorrow. Strawberries are coming up. They look great. I don't know if you can see, the garlic is all going great guns. So I'm very happy about that. The parsnips that I missed last year are coming back. They're biennials, so those probably aren't going to taste real great. And my first mushrooms from all that mushroom spawn I spread out last year is fruiting. So I need to grab a knife and get those harvested. But the first thing I want to do is I want to use my brand new tool and get some of these beds prepped. That brand new tool is very hard to handle one-handed. It's broad fork. Broad forks are really good for breaking up soil without necessarily disturbing the microbiotic life within the soil. And it's a very common tool for permaculturists to use. What you do is you drive it deep into the ground and lever it so it loosens the soil up without upsetting it, without completely flipping it over and disturbing it, which has the downside of revealing any seeds that were not germinating because they weren't close enough to the surface. So doing a full turning of the garden can bring all those seeds up to the light, and then you've got more weeds. So the less you can disturb the soil, the better it is for the garden overall. I don't have enough time to do the whole garden, and honestly, I don't have the spoons to do all of it. But I am really behind on getting my peas and my lettuce and my greens in. So I am going to turn those beds, except I have to remember which bed is supposed to be my lettuce bed. And I may not do the greens bed, because the greens bed is that one in the corner there that's all full of grass. So that's going to need a lot of weeding. So I may do that as my first project tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, and as Morgan said, happy Mother's Day, you're going to spend all of it in your garden. And honestly, that sounds like a pretty good Mother's Day to me. Although, not so many plants and a lot more turning dirt. But let's at least get these pea beds done and see what else I've got the energy for and bring this day to a close. So you can see that didn't take very long. And what a difference it made between this bed, which I broad forked, and this one, which I haven't yet. So it really makes an enormous difference in just loosening and aerating that soil so that it's ready for seeds to go in. So I need to go inside and look at my map of the garden and confirm where else I'm supposed to be digging. But the black flies are out, and I'm still recovering from the last batch of black fly bites I got, so I may call it here for tonight. But come back tomorrow, because the whole day is going to be spent in this garden and in the environment around, because I need to get all these beds turned. I need to get the peas and lettuce planted, and I need to start mowing. I at least want to mow the house plot. I probably can't mow the garden pasture because it's still very squishy, but I can mow the back lot and the chicken area and probably up around the pond. But I have to fix the mower again. So that's going to be a tomorrow project. I hope you'll come back and watch us get it done, because by God, we're going to get it done.